Waiting I want for stress here is that where would they say quality day or quality no day? The people then will like for say quality no day, they really just no one for opening their mind to the expansiveness of waiting education. So make a break down different elements of quality. When they talk about quality education, they talk about the school environment. What's not the quality in the school environment? The school environment safe, the school environment clean, the teacher then they show up on time, the teacher then they show up in a class, the school get credible data, the Pekin then feel safe in the school. They talk about quality for the Pekin then. The Pekin then when they go to school, their physical health okay, then get guidance, counseling and mentorship, then get access to teaching and learning materials, then get welfare, then they get chop in at school, then get access to curriculum materials. We talk about administration of basic education, for example, quality instead of the part of the system. We too don't do but the school quality assurance and monitoring. What do they do about the subsidy? What do they do about the examination then what they can? What do they do about the policy then what they pass? Then they separate quality. When they talk about the homes and the community, how many mama and papa they check homework with them picking them? How many people in the community they see picking them they pass at late hours, they not say, hey, unless you come on, unless you they go. How many people then they see them with girl picking them, then they hold them or they kiss them in the street. You know, say that picking they under 18. You know, talk about time. We talk about financing quality. How much governments they invest, how much governments they build schooling, how much partner them. So in terms of strategy and vision, in terms of financing, in terms of leadership management, in terms of academia, in terms of community participation, all this are components of quality. So if somebody can't say quality not depend on the education, it means that person there not informed.
Yes, subscribe. You always dey watch we program them, but you not subscribe yet to the channel. All wetin you get for do, press this red subscribe button and then you come over here and press this bell. To the bell option, press this one with all. It don't done. It no get for cost you anything. When you do this, na sign for show say you dey support we for make we do more. Thank you for we don help we for share this program. Yeah, God bless you.
The program now Good Morning Salon, and it come to you from 98.1 FM. Well, at the program this morning, as with Radio Democracy, they can look at the quality inside education at the country. And for can talk about that, we get the Minister of Basic Education, Dr. David Senge. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you.
All right. This morning, we can look at different issues. Them we go begin from the postponement of the NPSC to May 28th this year, and the thing them we government wangi to the school picking them ahead of the exams, and also quality education. What it mean? According to the Minister of Basic Education, he believes say salon don't begin see quality inside education. Well, if you get opinion on this, you can send your message to the AfriCell number 077 981 981. The number for sending message to again is 077 981 981. This morning, let me discuss whether or not salon education system get quality according to the Minister of Education. Dr. Senge, let we begin first for look at the postponement of the NPSC exams. But first, let me look at WAS also. Some time ago again, when I postponed the exam to August this year after beginning on study, and they look forward to the exams. NPSC, same thing, it will be on the 14th. And just last week, when I pull word say now on the 28th now, NPSC go take exam. Many picking them be devastated by this news. But why the postponement of public exams?
Thank you very much for this question, Yasu. Just for the record, WAS, we not postpone WAS. WAS was always August because school opening, and WAS na international exam we na 5 countries in the city WAS. At the start of the school year, the tentative schedule will come for WAS now being the same, they're not postponed. In terms of NPSC, We postpone it simply because we're not Kumbra government, and I'll explain exactly how and why make the postponement a good thing. One, we country in a primarily Muslim country. 70% of the population are Muslim then. And picking them do the fast. Teacher then they tell we say we pick first of all picking them they go to school late because then they grab that morning eat sokoli. And when they don't eat boku, by the time they reach that school, they don't tire. During the rest of the day, we then they in that class, they know they focus. But then I want for the school learner in position. The second one, now all we family then they celebrate pre-day. We all the travel go celebrate pre-day. And if you travel go celebrate pre-day as your family when I don't the leading up to pre-day and after pre-day. And now to the another in the interest of the Peking then, for make me we take exam 2 days after pre-day. We all man that the old student on the focus on this celebration. But most importantly, last year and all the year then we've been the past, they see Peking and they walk at 20 miles, 30 miles, 40 miles, they go take exam. And at that day last year, remember Okaya, we say, oh look the Peking and they bring the beat stand and they go some side. This 9 President Bill say this never happen. He say we forgive examination center now every chiefdom in this country, yeah. Every chiefdom. 65 chiefdom now them been not been get exam center. Can you imagine? Now this country, yeah, we've been done there in this country, and this we had last year. Chiefdom then they in this country, well we not been care about them how they beginning they take exam. So then they walk at 30, 40 miles and they cross water, sit down inside boat 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, go lodge some side for make them take exam. President Bill said this never happen. So we sit down with WAEC and we make sure say so we postpone our even extra now, such that we go make sure say every chiefdom in this country and as I tell you now, with WAEC we don't already add 69 new center then in 65 new chiefdoms. We're picking them now, then go work at small or they not go far. They not go move come on then chiefdom go other chiefdom then for go take exam. Now this is not the reason that we postpone the exam.
So anything we una dey do, you in particular, you like planning. So before una put the dates on the 14th, say the exams for me on the 14th, and not take all this into consideration.
Pre-day, there not been no announced pre-day. The way then they announced pre-day, and we do this again last year. Pre-day, now where the fast months begin, and then they announced pre-day.
Right.
Will not be no announced pre-day, then they will set the time.
But David, you do any survey or data for sure say the one them where they fast. These students where they fast, them boku pass the one them we not the fast, we make now one of the reasons that we make you postpone the exams.
I mean, I think if we think about radical inclusion, it means every Peking, every learner forget an equal opportunity, forget access to quality. We not for make me Peking. Then send them we will the transport Peking them after COVID and boss. One shift them meaning that one green Peking I'm being signed up. We go with transports that one Peking day. The kind of learning, and by the way, they can't talk about quality. Now this not quality. Quality not to, and we'll talk about this later on. But it really means everybody in the system get a very good chance, if not the same amount of chance for progress. And even if that one picking in the fast, a due consideration. But not to one picking the fast. We country, now a very an Islamic country. Most homes. So we talk to principal then, we talk to teacher then, we talk to WAEC, we talk to people then. So no decision not the way they make when we want to sit down inside we office and make a none.
So then set of people here we say una consult with before finally una agree on the decision for postpone the NPSC exam on the religious line. Then begin on any statistics of the number of picking them where they sit, where they fast, because taking into consideration the class where they picking them for city exam, now picking them in a primary level and fasting gets age where it be say back not to mandate getting for picking fast.
Like I just tell you, say, even if that one picking in the fast, we get people with the class 6 win at 12, 13, 14, 15, particularly in remote areas. And we know, say, even that Alaji in host they like you at 7 is still the fast. I mean, we don't see that we also have people then with the fast, with the young. But even if they're not the fast, then they contribute in a family process. Fasting and religion, we they take it very seriously in this country.
So because Ramadan they happen every year now, is it that it's going to be official, say, every Ramadan, no school, no for their own exams?
No, that's not what I said.
No, I dey ask because na
No.
exam them for seats, but na postpone and because then they fast.
This not a transition exam. This not a transition exam where several hundreds of thousands of kids get an opportunity for go from primary school to secondary school and a one green day. If it be say something day we go make me beaucoup of them not do well or they not focus or they not prepare better, it better for when we postpone that.
So anytime Ramadan fall, no national exam.
Not within a day or two, not to Ramadan no more. Last year, I've been saying this is not Eid al-Fitr, this is Eid al-Adha, I think. Last July, one other holiday being the July 28th or so last year, Muslim holiday. We postponed the exam for that day, and it just means here we think about we people then we're very religious, particularly outside of the urban area there, and we dey consider. Say the people them way they now with community then self get a fair chance and we forgive them chance and then a radical inclusion.
We can look at that. Over 60 new centers don't add more to the centers that will be there for take this year's exams.
Yes.
And also government plan for give them pencil, well for go take the exams. The school of thought they say because when I late for procure the thing for the picking them now the main reason for the postponement of the exams because government we want forgive each of them picking the way they sit pencil and also eraser and sharpener.
The item they already did. That school of thought we not trust government or governance really because I don't talk here 3-4 reasons we make. So if somebody go say oh that's not the reason, I'm not able to convince them otherwise. But we know say the reason we make we postpone the exam. Most importantly, as I say, that because we want to give every Peking, every chiefdom, this I don't think people they understand the significance waiting President Bio do so. Where it say, it no matter which chiefdom you dey, now we government in responsibility for make sure say you take your exam like chiefdom. Try they see people then they travel inside motorcar, then they inside boats, hours, then they go take exam. We see people then they get accidents in the road. It is if you only arrive at this if you don't go meet people then at the chiefdom then. Well, I don't go to President people don't go far beyond Moawoma. We don't go far into Karine. They don't go inside and if you go inside and the chief then the picking then can't tell you then say hey President Bio do you have for give you exam center. You dey give the exam center and at this 9 weeks say what they do. So
but
we
also,
work with WAEC for ensure this.
But also not take into consideration the general good of the picking themselves because them picking their baby don't prepare their mind, they don't finish with their mock exam, they know say then just wait for the NPSC now. That psychological effect, when I take that into consideration.
I see every step where they pass, if I see picking, usually I they slow down, put them in the window, I don't talk to Boku picking them. You get a school, you get some picking them where they may now pumped up, they're excited for take the exam. But you also get Boku where being still they do catch up still. So for them one and they get extra then after we think you say, good, I go study for an extra 2 weeks. So it's mixed, and at this now important is that there is no absolute ever in these decision making because the same classroom where the picking them go to cry say, hey me I don't study, I know say how they get 400 because I get 400 per mark. That picking we get 28. They take and say, finally I get 2 more weeks for study me letter writing and practice so that I go get 230 in my pass. These are all the realities in the classroom.
Waiting at the status of payments for the invigilators.
For this year, the invigilator or the monitor
past year, then they come into this year.
I think they don't publish to check them for the monitor them from last year. They may need for do audits, and internal audits in the Ministry of Finance and surely delay in there, and we don't apologize to them people then for the delay them. But now government will believe in accountability. And the government will believe in transparency. We know still we'll get for audits we have. So the process of auditing been delayed and slow, but the last thing we are checked, the check me
that been when?
3 weeks ago.
Because the reason why I ask concern be done they come against na because the vigilators they not get the money yet, make una not get option but for postpone the
No,
exams.
that's not true. That cannot be true. The people then where they invigilate. I mean, you where they say government debt now, fine debt forget because government go pay you. Elect now 1 year later, government go pay you. So then people then they know say government they pay them, and with the civil society, the people then we being helpful for invigilate now CSO then senior former teacher then head teacher then people then are citizens of this country. One for make them picking them the young grand picking the exam one go before. So they not go whole we they not go say no exam not go happen without them it will not pay them, but they pay them, and I think say the money be non come out.
All right.
And
Well,
we pay them with ACC, with the Cargo ACC, with the Cargo we own audit team, with the Cargo all man as Naso do last year. And make no Rikishi Panandi.
all right. We continue with the program. Good morning, Salon. Where they come to you from 98.1 FM. We still get the Minister of Basic Education, Dr. David Senge. This morning, we only talk about the postponement of the NPSC, and now we can look at quality inside the program as the government's main priority we can to education and forgive free quality education to Salon picking them. But according to critique, them believe say the education free, but quality no better. Well, now the program again, the minister, I go first of all ask you where you say quality, what do you mean by quality? Or what do the Ministry of Basic Education mean where you say quality?
You know, this is an excellent question. But before this, I talk about free quality school education first. Then I'll talk about quality. It only free to the picking them then school fee. Means the government they pay money, 50+ billion for pay school fee. President Bill 9 they pay school fee. So not to free, like no money where they go inside. We they use we money who they raise from domestic revenue, and we pay school fee for picking them. Free tuition, the quality part. Maggie, so first of all, we all not get the same understanding of quality. So make her explain some analogy. So 2 analogy. One like football, so and then I will use chop analogy. Pan football, me na Bo Rangers are the support. You know Eastern Lions today. So we Bo Rangers been beat Eastern Lions 2 weeks ago. Sorry for bringing up. You go say, no quality, no the Eastern Lions. Eastern Lions, the Pueblo, the Ratino, look what they go lost so against Bo Rangers. Or you go say, that keeper they not informed. The keeper, if you don't do something, that keeper not get quality. Oh no, now the defender they not get quality. The striker them they do well though, but the defender they not do well. Oh no, now the manager rotten. The manager if you don't make that change inside the 67 minutes. Where would they talk about quality? Or me go say, with chairman, Baba didn't get beaucoup quality or not make them win. Or now the manager or now Musa we score. What would they talk about quality pan football in this case? If you lost one game, you know they say, that team they not get no quality. Even if you lost, but the career manager then they say we lost this game here, but are satisfied with my team because the way them play, the effort we then do, the way then chase, we were unlucky, we lost. Quality, not to where one thing happen no more, you concede or you lost. You say no quality in the system. Another example, like chop. You know how chop can sweet, like sometimes more say then what's your favorite chop? Maybe what's your favorite chop? Pemahui, more say Pemahui with breast, not your favorite chop. Okay? You can see this chop here is sweet, so na high quality chop this. Then you don't eat boku, then you take 1 spoon, sansan inside that rest day, not inside the plaster, so something sansan inside the rest, then you chama, you teeth broke or something more you say, this chop here, you don't get no quality because the sansan inside this, where I don't taste it, not sweet again. Or something maybe they eat the same salt they inside for you, salt not the inside for the other person. This is not sweet self, we get boku salt. But what about the balanced meal? Beef the inside, fish the inside, maggi the inside, tomatoes the inside, ogiri the inside, G-blocks the inside. Now quality because the balanced meal is sweet. Pepper not the inside, that means you not get quality. Waiting I want for stress here is that where would they say quality day or quality no day? The people then way like for say quality no day, they really just no one for opening their mind to the expansiveness of within education. So make a breakdown different elements of quality. When they talk about quality education, when they talk about the school environment, what's not the quality in the school environment? The school environment safe, the school environment clean, the teacher then they show up on time, the teacher then they show up in a class, the school get credible data, the Pekin then feel safe in the school. They talk about quality for the Pekin then. The Pekin then when they go to school, their physical health okay, then get guidance, counseling and mentorship, then get access to teaching and learning materials, then get welfare, then they get CHOP in school, then get access to curriculum materials. We talk about administration of basic education, for example, quality instead of the part of the system. We too don't do but the school quality assurance and monitoring. What do they do about the subsidy? What do they do about the examination and what they can? What do they do about the policy and what they pass? Then they say quality. When they talk about the homes and the community, how many mama and papa they check homework with them picking them? How many people in the community they see picking them they pass at late hours, they not say, hey, unless you come on, unless you they go. How many people then they see people then they see them with girl picking them, then they hold them or they kiss them in the streets. You know, say that picking they under 18. You know, talk about time. We talk about financing quality. How much governments they invest, how much governments they build schools in, how much partner then. So in terms of strategy and vision, in terms of financing, in terms of leadership management, in terms of academia, in terms of community participation, all this are components of quality. So if somebody can't say quality not depend on the education, it means that person they not informed, than one, and two, that person they refuse for engage for say, we say we want free quality, that means accessible quality. We want to make can tell we how they improve more sit down. And finally, quality, not one absolute, not a one-time thing. You know, say, then get quality, game done, game over.
So quality they now?
Absolutely, and remember where I don't go through then different components, then we can unbundle all of that.
So as you say, quality then now the education sector for government schools them, and you don't make mention of them components, and you can compare that quality then a government education to that of a private school where people know say really get quality education.
Look, I never really talk about government or private schools. To me, they're all schools. So
but you will compare the one where the government they run to that
certainly,
of private schools.
Certainly. But Maka, even within schools, there are differences. So more talk about, remember, I know the reason I go through and break down different components of quality. I don't want to talk about quality as one box. So more breakdown into the different components of quality, more to curriculum. Okay? Now the same curriculum, the people in the private school and public school they use. Before we came, there was no curriculum unit. There was no curriculum inside the last God knows how many years. We create civic education curriculum. We create civic education textbook. We create civic education framework. We create basic education curriculum framework. We create syllabus, then we people then they shape all side. Private school then, Awada. Private school then they call me for say, hey minister, when I not send we the syllabus then you don't make it to. So quality in this case, just on the curriculum content, it there, universal. That not mean say we don't done. Because now we create SSS. Syllabus are not there for SSS. They're not been there from ever. Now we get the first basic, we get the basic education. Now we don't go ahead and we don't get the first drafts of senior secondary school curriculum framework. Now we get to develop the syllabus there. That is quality. And whether in a private school or public school, they have the same. And in fact, the private school, then they call we for say, we not get the syllabus there yet too.
So why the government want to make people trust this quality within the government schools them, where you take into consideration from the presidency come down to government, cabinet sitting ministers them, not they send them picking in at the government.
But that's not true. Mama didn't picking the
for go. A very good number of them then are private schools. From the presidency come down.
Sure, but wait, again, you just after where I don't spend a lot of time for tell you the different components of quality, you still don't butcher.
So why you think say una go prefer for sending a picking at the private school and left the quality education at government school?
No, so the question wrong. We know they prefer based on quality or no quality. The point where they try for raise Nayaso, now that the same syllabus, if you international or you PO. Now the same syllabus now they use. So when we break down the different components of quality, curriculum, so I choose curriculum in this case. Curriculum, now the same curriculum, okay? And in fact, the curriculum we don't develop last year, the government school then, we don't train all government school then with the curriculum, but we not train private school then yet. So more we break down the different components, yeah? So more go to, as part of quality, more go now to infrastructure.
Infrastructure, before you can, Mr. Minister, not determine how the program they go. Okay. Still on this quality, now the same syllabus, you say all the private schools and the government schools they use. But correct. When it come at the end of the day, the private school and do very well in private private school they do very well in exams when you compare them to primary to the government school. Maybe now then the people they see say quality no they inside the education.
Okay, so make you another example about this. And you tell me what you prefer, A, B, or C, okay? A, 4 people then take MPSC, then all pass, 100% pass rate, high quality. B, 20 people then out of 100 take the exam, then pass, 20% pass rate. C, 50 people then take exam out of 100, 50% pass rate. But all the one that will pass, now boy picking them. Which one are more quality?
So that question they go back to you.
Exactly. Because
Mr. Minister.
So I go answer that day. For me, it's not a question of A get more quality because they get 100% pass rate. Because as a government, I know want to make 4 people then go take exam and then all pass na private school. We get private school then, we not 8 people then in the same. Of course then they get 100% pass rate. The school then where they do well, for example, last year in Akelema, was it 5 people then send? Of course then go get 100% pass rate. If you did KSS and you send 1,000 picking them and 500 pass or 300 pass, which do you prefer? The 4 people then where they pass in a private school or the 300 people then where they pass in a KSS?
So now, in this case now, because of small amount of number where the private school they send, make you think say they get 100% passes?
This is, yes.
But some of them private school are not boku, the one the way they talk. So.
How many people then international they send compared to PO? How many people then more than high they send compared to Rokel? How many people then grammar school they send compared to?
So if that be the case, if that be the case, you say they get the same quality na all the school and be it private or government school.
No, that's not what I said, because
you see now the number of people that they send make with the things say the pass rate.
I don't say quality na quality. I'm saying we should break down the quality into different components.
But we also don't compare the two. Say the private and government are the same thing.
On curriculum, then they use the same curriculum. That's what I said.
All right. So waiting they stop the government schools them. Not forget more classrooms for let the number of picking them break down so the quality go show.
Well, more or less to show the quality go show, because I just give you 3 examples in terms of people than where they pass or the number of people. Last year we get more people than we pass sciences than ever before. Where people then they talk say pass rate low, but yet we had most number of people attempting exams. Does that mean no quality? But for the ministry, waiting with the consider as quality, we break down inclusivity and equity. That are one attribute of quality. Quality teaching, that are another attribute. Stimulating learning environment, the classroom then that are another one. Emotional wellness, how we begin then they handle the stress, now another one. Physical health, now another one. Of course, learning outcomes, the pass rate. So these are all a different layer, and we go break them down. Look, now PO I go. The kind of way we having the play and enjoy and have fun at PO, probably not amount of in the play. So I had quality physical experience, physical health. I had quality emotional wellness na PO. If you go in the streets, you they see them PO bubble then, or then one then with the pass. You all then they engage. Now so the other one then we uptight they engage. No. That so you go say then they get quality pass this other one. In terms of emotional
but the overall
well-being,
performance, 9 people can look at.
Yeah, but I just tell you, say if 4 people then pass, you get 100% pass rate, and 50 people then pass out of 100, you get 50% pass rate. Just one and more quality. We as a government, we as a people, don't decide say waiting our illiteracy rate in a salon. 80% for women in the rural areas. And where people then can look for say, oh, quality been there, then and so some man say, well, we the AA, then 10, and the quality there, we all the pass. Ask them how many been they take exam. Then 18, then 25.
So
they all come on at the same side.
Right.
So that then that quality. That's
so
not
David,
what's
let me
quality.
also one other issue we challenge we been there. Now the issue of well infrastructure we start for talk about we say better classrooms they not been there. So give you updates on how many classrooms they for so that the way how the classroom they can congested, you know, it will be a bit now people are able to stay in a class at least 30, 35
Sure.
instead of 100.
So by the way, this also so this is the part of quality, right? So in terms of the as I mentioned, simulating learning environment. This number also way people that can say pupil teacher ratio for be 18 or 30 or 25 or 50. School and then a village then they want 8 picking the day or 10 picking the day or 20 picking them. School and then a free time when at 160 day class. So first of all, it depends on what side. If you're in the auditorium at the lecture at FBC, okay, I get about 100 picking in, 100 to 1. But within the auditorium, 3 open space and at the project and then all the day. Of course, I they see each one of their homework then. Another say for primary school, we forget 100 picking there. But it abstract for just choose 25 or 30 or 35 or 40. Then I one. In terms of waiting we say, and this is like moral position, and this I can ask people then. If you get 80 picking in a classroom to one teacher versus 40 picking in a classroom to one teacher, the other 40 then they sell and market, which one you prefer?
So if the 8 is still in a class and not pay attention, and the teacher not even care whether they listen or not.
And now we don't add the teacher in care one day. So we'll get to come back to teacher training, where they pan quality, where we go talk about. But you mean you agree say it better for me that 80 in a class than me 40 day on that bridge they go stone.
What is radical inclusion?
So radical inclusion means say anybody forget access to quality education. Means that people then we poor. We not able to afford. Now make the free tuition. We government they pay. People then with the far side, remote areas and rural areas. You see this chiefdom then 65 chiefdom then will not be exam center. I don't give them examination center. They improve them. Parents, learners and picking they will get belay and the one then we don't born picking, including man them. And then people with disabilities, so physical disability, cognitive, psychosocial disability, landing in radical inclusion, they make sure say pauper, all man forget access for quality education. Comprehensive safety, we don't enforce, we don't beat speaking in school anymore. We help school them for build fence through the performance-based financing, through the subsidy. We make sure see we get we get new how do you call it now? Guidance counseling units then we try for reinvigorate and then quality teaching and learning. We don't train over 12,000 teachers then. We don't give all these SSS principles and tablets for get data. We get the annual school census 2020 done. We get first draft of that. They will publish. And then universal access. I mean, they pay, as mentioned, 50 billion now pay for subsidy last time. All man actually gets access to education now.
The issue of subsidy, how best the ministry don't try for ensure say the schools that they get the subsidy on time, because the subsidy can come, but many schools them don't raise complaints say now where they can don't go far, they don't struggle before they get half of the subsidy.
Sure. I think a lot of it that the number we need for wait for the number, they made the number settle. You know, at the start of the school year, we'll get for wait because people then the new students in the can, students in the left, so the wait made the number settle. Second time back, because of the timing, we became in the kind notes we try for regularized schedules than our quality as well than where I say with the part with the progress on quality. At the first time this school open September from one picking and Didi on D1 and we try for make sure so this go happen back like, so I don't understand people then can say progress not the because we see we don't need for open we are we just obvious deciding we progress there.
Okay.
So then they back now.
Right.
We try with the number they then settle now we can able pay. But for third time the school then will meet so they try for updates then data then they so that will go pay them.
All right. Well, we ask people if they get concerned questions make them send them, as today we look at quality inside education, but we want to say many thanks to we partner stations them for we did the link with this morning, and amongst them we the Education Radio 95.3 link Radio Democracy this morning. Many thanks to the management for continue for link, not to wait the minister day. Now we studio no more. Okay, but we can look at messages them. We don't come. This one say, since you talk about the audits, census we be, somebody they say good school environment is key for quality education. 2018 performance audit and the school census have shown that wash in schools is very deplorable, and one of the reasons has to do with the lack of funds to continuously keep the school wash clean. EFA ban and WashNet has postponed that wash should stand alone in the draft school fees subsidies, and also 15% of the school fees subsidies should go towards wash in schools. What's the ministry's position on these two calls from CSOs?
This other message say how much of the components the minister make mention of is in the quality of the government schools.
Quality must have a threshold. It can't be inclusivity. It can't be exclusivity. Inclusivity is access. UNESCO and everyone refers to access by all. That's not quality. Quality education is about the overall experience of those who access, graduation rates, pass rates, teacher quality, etc. Those things objectively are not yet at a threshold that can be referred as generally having quality.
This other one says, Mr. Minister, if Ramadan is one of the reasons why the exam was postponed, how would it be if the Lent season falls around exam period? And if you already knew about the exam 1 year ago and failed to prepare and last minute postponement, it shows the planning was not done well.
David makes a fallacy of generalization while trying to make a good case of differentiation. Indeed, elements of the education system must have some quality, but that doesn't mean the education system has quality. The outcome and system is a thing. To use his analogy, someone who is a terrible cook can spend money and buy a lot of meat and cook cassava leaves, but that cassava leaves won't be referred to as having quality. That's fallacy, and he knows that.
Many schools do not receive their subsidies in time, especially those in remote areas. First-time subsidies come in second or third term. It affects the smooth running of schools.
Another one say, please continue to press David on why his own children are not attending government schools. School.
This other one says, since he became the Minister of Education, let him please explain how many schools have been provided with access to computers.
Quality is not to have 80 children in school versus 40 in class with 40 in the streets. We should have 2 classes with 40 each and none in the streets. Aim should be to have all in schools with 40 per class.
This other one say when the exams will be taken on the 28th of May, when will the results be out taken into consideration? There will be a break before school reopens in September.
This one said, David Senge so much believe in data, and every time he speaks, he talk about data. Now, Mr. Minister, tell me, in the whole government of Sierra Leone, how many of your children attend these government schools with this high quality that you're talking about? All right, well, we will come over to the minister for making respond to the text messages same way when I don't send.
All right, make us start with this way people them they use for say if government people then beginning in a school, it means the quality no they panel. First of all, it's a choice for who side you picking the go school. Within a Makituma, Asabi Boku Makituma and the crew bay, who then beginning they go private school. You want say, oh, because you poor, you they on government, then they support you, for saying you begin a private school. Where I go the other day, I go sit down government wife. I meet about 11 picking there. I just go waka. Then all they not be know that I will sit down at the step there. amongst the 7 way they or the picking way they, couple of them they go na private school, couple of them they go na government school. So enough for engage them. Now it's a choice. We picking them will get me and me wife. Now we born with picking. We be don't get life before we turn politician. So you want to say me wife now suddenly not forget a say, not forget a choice, and who's I will picking for go because President Bio make me minister.
But
If
Mr.
you please
Minister,
President Bio, excuse me, madam, I beg. If you please President Bio, then he say I not for be minister again today of education. I for pull me picking back na government school because I been carrying go na government school, I turn and go private school. Because I not be so the people then will like for say if government policy in picking in a school it means it's not to quality. Actually, what they think about, which is the whole system. There are 2.2 million, 2.3 million picking where they member every day. Where
But
they
in
think
a-
about then quality.
in as much as
If I not be minister today, whether me picking they go private school or government school, actually not get nothing for do with the rest of them 2.2 million day. So me priority as government, waiting you for the ask me about now how are they ensure say the quality of education, the curriculum, the access, the situation where they universal such that anybody go get a choice for make. And that choice they not important.
So in as much as it is a choice for decide who school somebody want for send in Peking, but you also don't take into consideration how motivational it will be for let somebody in Peking they attend a government school outside the Minister of Education, for example, in Peking they attend in terms of trusting the system.
Understood. By the way, if we take this example, yeah, it means the Minister of Transport na put that for the riding side. Because people then rest of
But
the
we not
like,
compare the school
no,
and
that-
transport.
Yeah, but safety. I just say not to the same because I just want to say if we begin this for extend this, now people then with the opposition. By the way, in the opposition argument this not about the system.
This
about
not
wetin we-
opposition
no,
argument. Now just a question where people ask for trust the system.
So
It
now
will be
they say-
motivational for see the Minister of Education in Peking they attend a government school,
Understood.
being that you dey encourage people and for sending Peking in there.
Understood. And then if I not be Minister of Education tomorrow,
It
then
can still
wetin-
continue for them at the government school if
Sure.
the system really good.
It is a choice, and that choice the nine most important, and that then they take away
Alright,
where
so
I get.
now we
But
look
to
at
the
other,
point. Then
way
the other
people
question
always-
then we I take. So the person will say no, na fallacy. Forget 80 people in a classroom or 40 in a world where we get unlimited amounts of money. Yes, so they build classroom outside, but that's not the case. And note Sierra Leone, now one of the only countries, 2/3 of country, then shrink the education budget. With Minister of Finance and in wisdom and with the president, then ensure say then expand the education budget. One of the few countries globally. So take Balamoya. One day, now 565 picking and day we build classroom. Next day, now 1,200. That means say government is not being the member and then because they get makeshift. I see people then they post makeshift video then me for sure say oh no quality not there. Yes, we expanded in SSS, we expanded enrollments by over 50%. Of course, you go forget classroom then win a makeshift. Of course, you will forget classroom then where people then tight inside. But what we don't do? We build just a couple months ago, I unveiled over 320 plus classrooms, 20,000 sets of furniture. We don't build close to 100 sets of classrooms for early childhood education, and we did start up another 100 more. We did build about 500 classrooms over the next 3 years. We did renovate 4 major government schools, including my Boroka Boys School, Bo School, K School. So, not to like say we just sit down and say no, we don't want to build classrooms. We are building classrooms, and by the time they left, close to 800 to 1,000 classrooms. Then we go down either build complete. Well, by the time they left, we know they left. By the time with the 2023 they can. With the day we go down build about 1,000 extra classrooms. Now, would I go say we not busy for classrooms? So I understand that person the point, but we don't live in a world where money they all side for build classrooms.
You say on another left. Also on another left.
we did that government because the people they know so
They left 2 years, then we go to election.
Yes, and we did it back because all man know because you self knows the quality education day because you self knows the economy they do well because you self know I take me picking go government hospital
Mr.
the
Minister,
other
all right,
day, by the
continue.
way.
Just continue for response.
So we there.
Let we keep the other discussions for other program. Just continue for response to their messaging. Then.
Okay. In terms of quality, then see na a threshold. Quality is not a threshold, actually. The whole point na have na for say quality not a single threshold. Na quality na a change. Quality na a comparison. Who's our meet and today? Who's our day tomorrow? How we progress. Waiting at the changes, the advances we don't do. Na dan day na quality. Really na a measure of a change. Because ideally 100% of we begin there for transition. But until then, we focus on inclusive and equitable. And that the person quotes SDG4. SDG4 actually talks about inclusive and equitable. SDG4, they talk about change. And SDG4 say, all by 2030, primary school and secondary school forget access to free education. And then we don't start.
So how about the pass rates, the graduation rates?
Those are attributes of quality. Now this is not the point. The whole point the whole point about this conversation I will get so that quality not to one figure. Quality not to just say, oh, land in poverty day. In fact, if not for that day, we as a government, if you go to the Education Innovation Challenge website with the STI, if you go to the education education sector analysis, they publish willingly we pass rates there because we want for set a benchmark. They publish side we there because we know say the thing that they put in place will get from may we advance in terms of WASH.
Yeah,
that's CSO. I agree with him. In fact, I meet with the DG of Salwako, with the minister before, and we don't send an email for me. We restart the working group on WASH, but we currently develop the education sector plan the next 5 years. So I invite that CSO day for me to contribute to the joint sector review and to the education sector plan, and a very good point then get. We stand the results to come out 45 days. That's what we see last year, and that they happened with the exam seat May 28th this year. 45 days, the results will come out.
That just brings me to standardization of the exams and the results. I mean, unfair again, and also go argue from here to Jericho, but if somebody deserves 600, I think he forget 600. Taking from that 600, go give somebody we get 100, I think it's unfair. And this one, the last two NPSC we don't come out under your administration can bring huge arguments of this standardization, which you don't do for make sure say picking them we get the marks them. I mean deserve the mark getter.
You see the waiting we don't do, waiting with governments don't do. Now forget full transparency and full engagement with people then. At the same thing, they happen in this country for the last since we were yesterday. Now the same thing happening at all time. Now the same thing happening at every examination.
So changing up for day.
Waiting me do now for engage many people that know waiting they happen, make them understand waiting normalization they about, waiting standardization they about, make them understand waiting then
how somebody go understand where in Peking gets 400. Then the government decide for reduce them or why whatever Macam decide for say and then it take the 40 it go give another student.
No.
So how will they go?
No, not to that day. Waiting they happen. The Peking gets waiting they
call 400
raw score and the waiting they call the normalized score. The raw score.
Tell me the
raw score. Now the Peking score, they know
when
they
take 400. When are 400?
Whatever. Let's say the raw score 400. Let's say the raw score 400. And the normalization they say
360.
The range of the people then we take the exam because not so you want grade they take the exam. The question then we
not so you tell person for study
or get the same score, Mr. Minister. So if them be take you mark na school like this.
No, they not take you mark somebody.
So, but you say you don't get 400, then they normalize them, you get 360.
But
if you are now what did they do?
Now that they happen in every examination, any examination by the way.
Not salon or all over
every
the world.
All side. If you really talk about statistics and data, you need for normalize, you need for standardize. Then they tell you as a government, as an institution, how you for improve. Because now about the cohort.
How would that improve?
How we system, how will they get so quality? Now where you know how the entire cohort they do. Because me and as a government, you by the way, back again to the people the way they say, oh, you're not been happy with 10 then we'll be better than 10 and day. Then 10 and then now 50,000 they take exam and when all na free time when come out. Free time Bo, Kenem and McKinney, they wanna come out. Not to quality than they.
So this normalization, I say they left.
Would they get people
Una they give you
that people will they come out Fintunia, they take the exam there, and then serve na Sierra Leone.
So this normalization, I saw you get for left. That
so
you
they
get
left,
400, they normalize this to
all
360.
side. No.
All right, now we get this break.
Normalize it to
Now we get this
360.
break and go make get some commercial break.
Yes, subscribe. You always dey watch we program them, but you not subscribe yet to the channel. All wetin you get for do, press this red subscribe button, and then you come over here and press this bell. To the bell option, press this one with all. E don done. E no get for cost you anything. When you do this, na sign for show say you dey support we for make we do more. Thank you for we don help we for share this program. Yeah, God bless you.
All right, 8:49 at the time from we studio clock, and we still get the Minister of Basic Education. Dr. Senge, from the messages then, from the word on the get and the conversation, it's as if na time for, make people actually begin for realize the quality in it, even though people they want things for be done now. With always seen, your ministry don't do the classrooms there, they don't build with support from the EU, and how you get for engage the public now for the engage and tell them, but then say now with time the country go begin see the actual quality in all of these.
I think you're absolutely right. Now, that first of all, this is not to lie. Then data then they will they show the pass rates. Now the reality, we know say pass rate poor. We know say teacher then they will know the show up. We know say teacher then they way. We do a qualification check the other day. But could people then we say that then certificates then and they would then show that we need to validate at the university there. We know say school and they were overcrowded. We know say subsidy. We know all them challenge then they. But waiting we they try to communicate. Now that from Usai we meet her, Usai we assess her inside 2018, Usai we assess her inside 2019, and Usai we did 2020 and 2021. Usai we did today better pass how Usai we did yesterday, better pass how we did before yesterday. That trend there. Now I mean by what you say in the beginning, say minister say quality inside the system. That would they see a change, a remarked change from Usai we did yesterday to Usai we did today. And that they continue. And they make with they continue. So if you look at the manifesto, right? So people then I say we get for do all what we say inside the manifesto for education. We to break down we say education governance. All we see we say what they do inside education governance now manifesto we don't do one. We don't depoliticize the board there. We don't train the SMC there. We don't hire school quality assurance monitor them. They call the inspector. We don't train them. We don't give them tablets. We don't give them motorbike for me then go do their continuous assessments in the education financing and management. We still they increase the budgets to 20%. We still will develop new policy for private sector. We will improve coordination. We'll get the multi-donor trust fund, the largest amount of money we'll get. We still will strengthen management of resources. And we'll promote social dialogue now they pan so with SLTU. We don't do all the things they do by education financing and management. Improving the condition of teachers.
Now just me next question.
We still they review the functions of TSC. We don't do our opening office then for all the districts then. We still will develop incentive scheme for teacher then. We don't do one in terms of retirement. We'll extend the retirement age and we'll continue to do more. We still will do best teacher award. We don't do that. The best teacher award this year, the first 10, they happen this June. Then they already choose. Then they choose currently. We still they provide tuition for teacher picking them. We don't do that with the Boku teacher picking and the benefit. Of course, we still getting them for do, like with the review community teacher then status, and we be still the bill housing scheme for teacher then. Then they will not do it. Increase in number of qualified teachers. We don't hire over 5,000. We don't replace about 2,000 plus more. This year they hire another 1,000. Will they continue to do this and expand the payroll now to 35,000? Increasing access to quality education. We say we add preschool and we don't add that. Will they promote child-friendly learning schools? We don't do that, and will they continue to expand and early childhood education not being done in this country? Yeah, we don't expand and will they build classroom there? We still go support primary school na every section, and at GSS na every chiefdom, and SSS na every constituency. We don't do all of that. They pass the SSS na constituency because they put science lab. Then they will be still they construct student hostel then. We deal on the process for that day, and obviously we don't expand school feeding in terms of access to education, to quality education. Double shift, maybe that they now not be able done because we just see they expand picking them more and more, and we able to build enough classrooms. Even if we want to build, we get money, still it take time for build classroom then. But in terms of promoting inclusive education, we don't do that day. So they provide bus, then we don't provide bus then for beginning at all the urban town, and then bus and they run. Then bus in a government bus then, a government bus then, and a government they run. Even though we don't see Boku Highway, different people then they undermine the implementation of that, of how the bus and they run. But we provide and we say they provide functional libraries and with computer and mobile library services. We don't provide library in all cycles. Then building group in the one carrying it. Falaba na in the modern left, we not get library with ICT, and we do that and the team.
And you know the monitor for make sure they use them libraries there.
With the monitor, the librarian, okay. Absolutely very very good. We saw the open centers of excellence secondary school, and we opened the one at Potdoko at the north. Kenema sent, then they build one between Kenema. We'll announce one at the southern region soon, and then Sudande we get in Prince of Wales. We with the Badia project, so they do that. In terms of adult literacy, right? We get 202 adult literacy centers. Then we don't employ 404 literacy trainers. We get what they call community learning center. And people then they learn livelihood skills as well. We currently review the curriculum for adult literacy and literacy programs, civic education. All to say what they do, we don't do one.
All right. So
and then more. So the waiting make at the mention then here. Now for say the dialogue, not just for be abstract, for say, oh, that's not the way better. I want make people then go back to waiting we saw what they do. Because people then sit down. And if you look at the manifesto then, and I've been they read this, if you take APC, NGC, SLPP, first of all you see the SLPP manifesto per education being deeper and bigger and more detailed past than all. And even that pandan, how many people then hold we to wait till we see what they do. Because if you just read that they help we for go towards the quality. Now you make us there.
So one other area, now the area of skills. I mean, the system, educational system, if you not pass Beke, it go difficult for you for further. So man don't take the Beke pass to them, but then skills development training centers they not take. But as Minister of Education, first of all, we don't into education, I think say the system of education now this country is okay.
I mean, they review the Education Act, but I know because me and MTHE they talk very well. We get the skills development project, they go on very very well, and then they support TVET there and SME there, small and medium enterprise there. One pan the thing that we President Bill say they do, they open TVET center in every district headquarter town, and that they happen by the end of this year. That is like commitment, because to your point, if people then come more Beke. Then for able go now then technical and vocational center, then you just see where President Bill also launched that mechanization from Japan with the Japanese aid, and we also now through this new senior secondary school curriculum framework, we don't begin to talk about the different pathways such that Peking we take Beke and you able get whatever, most aggregates 26 or 36. You able to go SSS. That means say you're not able for go school, you're able to continue education. That would create a pathway for me you go na then Talent Academy then they may you go na TVET then and may you go learn skills. And you're absolutely right, say all man not able to go to university, right? I think we have only about 50,000 university, but the people know they take MPS WAS now about 165,000. 165,000 people take WAS, but we only get about 50,000 in all we technical and higher institutions. So clearly, there needs to be more pathways for making people then continue their education, and that the transition what they think about. Than the self-nine inequality that I would think about how we begin and they go from preschool to transition into primary school, and then they do one by the ratio of preschool to primary school classrooms. They begin the transition from primary school to JSS. And I make we give more options this year. They begin and they choose 3 instead of 1, such that then we all able to transition from Becker into SS with the TVET and with the higher and technical institution, and then from WAS into higher and technical universities.
Catch them young, very good phrase. And you make mention of the early childhood learning. How far down they don't go, or they go?
Very steadily, and actually quite. In fact, on education radio, I think 10 a.m. every day, all the Pekin they listen to children's reading on the radio. And one point is one for doing that to the supply radio. Now all the early childhood center then may then continue for the read.
What's that now referred to as early childhood centers?
We actually get early childhood centers, preschool then. I just mentioned so we don't build 60 preschool classrooms across several districts. We get another 100 will they build over the next couple of months. We just get the deeds of gifts from the community. Then I want to tell thank you to the family then we can donate their land then they to government for the then picking and then land one. Important now blessing and they give land for making them build school for me all the picking then across generations the land.
As we they wrap up now, the last week Kaya you be the bonjour. You just come off France, we say meet your counterparts and you can, speak some French for Winaya. Somebody just they ask why French will be compulsory again for make we marketable since we're in West Africa.
It didn't say our manifesto. I sure say that person they ask because it didn't say our manifesto.
I don't come to reality.
Not yet, but that means we'll have to think about that. In fact, we'll be in the Senegal, this night conversation we'll get, and the team, they look at this very closely. Not just French, but French and other global languages.
Chinese.
Exactly. People therefore they learn Cantonese now because, and so we're engaged with the Chinese embassy, Arabic as well, Egypt,
right.
And relationship, all and the importance for global languages.
Many thanks for joining the program this morning for Kangui updates on waiting the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education and they do this PNTM. We hope so going to get you as time they go for give people more information about the ministry work. Thank you, Ikam.
Thank you.
All right, now this edition of the program go left on up. Plenty thank you to the studio guest, Dr. Moinina David Senge, the Minister of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, and also to the team, Michael Sambola and Alex Lawrence Kroma produced the program, DJ Ahmad and Moses. DJ Ahmad give you technical support, Moses Kabra, make on see you live on Facebook. So till we meet again, Mabel Kabare say goodbye.
Minasma James they say stay tuned throughout the day for more interesting programs at 12 midday show at 7 for We National News. Until then, Minasma James they say goodbye.
Yes, subscribe. You always dey watch we program them, but you not subscribe yet to the channel. All waiting you get for do, press this red subscribe button, and then you come over here and press this bell. To the bell option, press this one with all. E don done. E no get for cost you anything. When you do this, na sign for show say you dey support we for make we do more. Thank you for your help we for share this program. Yeah, God bless you.